Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, where in this video we'll be traveling to the world of Isekai Anime. An Isekai Anime by definition is a genre of anime involving accidental travel from one real-world location, usually Earth, to a fantasy world where the rules of physics go out the window. So today we'll be looking at some of the best anime where the main character gets isekai'd into another world. Starting off the list at number 10, we have Okaasan Online. Imagine you're playing an online game and you're pretty good, but then your mom starts playing and she's so much better than you. That is the life of Masato Usuki, where he starts playing a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, also known as an MMORPG. He realizes that his overbearing mother is so much better than he is in the game. Her skills are much stronger than he is, and because of this she has absolutely no trouble dealing with enemies in the game. This anime is classified into adventure, comedy, fantasy, and with the plot and story, it's no surprise it belongs in these categories. Moving on to number 9, there is Mao-sama Retry. The main character in this anime is a man by the name of Akira Uno, and he manages an MMORPG called Infinite Game. That is, until he decides to shut down the game's servers. The end, right? Wrong. He instead is transported into the game in the body of the game's Demon King. He then finds a girl named Aku, and together they travel this fantasy world looking for the reason he was brought there in the first place. This anime is fairly recent, originally being released in July of 2019, and unfortunately for the people who loved it, it doesn't look like a season 2 will be made anytime soon. Next up at number 8, there is Shinchou Yuusha, otherwise known as Cautious Hero. Even more recent than Mao-sama Retry, premiering in October of 2019, this anime falls into categories of action, adventure, fantasy, and comedy. The story follows the main character, Seiya, who's an overpowered character summoned to save a world full of danger. He is the typical OP hero, except for one small detail: he is overly cautious. He will use his strongest attacks on even the weakest of enemies just to make sure they're defeated. He will buy enormous amounts of supplies and healing items just in case he needs them. He's the kind of character to be prepared for every possible situation, and that is probably what this world needs. At number 7 we have Ari Fureta. The anime follows a teenager, Hajime Nagumo, and he finds himself in a fantasy world in need of saving. Soon after he is transported there, he quickly realizes he has gained very little magic power, and is soon after betrayed and left for dead. It is then that he finds a vampire named Yui, and she joins Hajime on his quest to find a way back home. The show is slightly different to the previously mentioned anime on the list in that it also falls into the harem category. This is because on the journey, Harime and Yui meet other characters who just so happen to be girls, and you get the idea. Next up at number 6, there is Recreators. I almost want to say that this is a reverse isekai, because while it's true that the main character, Shota Mizushino, travels to an anime he watched, when he returns, the characters from that show return to his world. And it isn't just one or two characters either. There is a hugely significant amount of characters that just appear without any explanation. So in this reverse isekai, instead of Shota trying to find a way home from a fantasy world, he travels through Japan in search of a way to send all these characters back to their original worlds. To be honest, it is a rather refreshing change from the generic isekai anime, and clocks in at a relatively short 22 episodes. Following that, at number 5, we have Kenja No Mago. This anime is included in the romance genre, as well as the expected action, magic, and fantasy levels. The main character, Shin, is reincarnated as an orphan into the fantasy kingdom of Earlshide. He is raised by the legendary hero of this kingdom, named Merlin, and in the solitude of the forest. After displaying an amazing affinity for magic, on his 15th birthday, he is sent to the kingdom's magic academy, where he trains further and this time develops his social skills as well as his magic. The academy feels like a regular high school, apart from the amazing feats of magic, as well as fighting off forces of evil that threaten to destroy the kingdom. And number 4, we have Konosuba. On his way home from buying a video game, the main character, Kazumo Saito, ends up dying. All is not over, however, because he shortly wakes up to the goddess Aqua. He is given a choice whether he would like to continue on to heaven or be reincarnated into a fantasy world. After choosing to be reincarnated, he is given another choice of bringing any one thing to assist him in his quests in this world. He ends up choosing the goddess Aqua herself to assist him on his first quest of defeating the Demon King of the world. The only problem, which he will soon find out, is that Aqua is fairly useless and is very little help to his cause. Next on the list at number 3, we have Youjo Senki. Many anime fans have wondered what it would be like to be isekai'd into any anime of their choice, and sometimes fans can spend hours daydreaming about the possibilities. Unfortunately for the main character in this anime, he's transported into a magical world at war. If this wasn't confusing enough, he is transformed into a girl who earns the name of Tanya the Evil. Tanya tries to better herself and ends up rising through the military ranks, although the country she is part of slowly starts to become an enormous empire with every victory Tanya experiences.
Unreal intertwined, and you're not listening. It is your choice to make a little mockery, it won't do.
At the number 2 position, we have The Rising of Shield Hero. The main character in this anime, Nafumi Iwatani, is summoned to the kingdom of Melromark with 3 other people. They are known as the 4 Cardinal Heroes. Each hero is granted a piece of equipment, such as a sword, a bow, a spear, and a shield, which belongs to Nafumi. The weak offensive capabilities of the shield lead him to be ridiculed, and later he is abandoned. He rescues a demi-human slave to accompany him on his quest and stop the waves of catastrophe from decimating the kingdom. This anime belongs in genres like action, drama, fantasy, and adventure. Finally, at first place, we have the well-known anime, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Although it's known by its Japanese name as well, Tenshi Shitara Slime Dataken, this anime is a shonen anime, meaning that it is primarily targeted at young male audiences, and also is categorized in the fantasy genre. This anime follows Satoru Mikami, who, while leading a rather monotonous lifestyle in Tokyo, Japan, he is stabbed. He dies and finds himself to be, you guessed it, reincarnated as a slime into a fantasy world. With his ability to take on almost any shape, he explores the world, making new friends along the way. And that concludes the list for some of the best isekai animes out there. And this means that's the end of today's video. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.